What is going on, YouTube? This is Jebus from the Beer and Peanuts Gaming Guild, bringing you my second installment of the Jebus Templar tank. We're going to call this the 1.1 version. Not too many major changes as of right now. I have noticed some things that will probably force me into an overhaul here shortly. Different mechanics that I'm finding in the dungeons and whatnot. But let's go ahead and get into it. We'll talk about the passives and the skills and all that other good stuff. Alright, for as far as the attributes go, I'm still running a 1-2-3 rotation. I've got 1 Magicka, 2 health, 3 stamina, where I'm just rotating that through. As you can see, I just got 1 more point to put in health, and I'm going to move back into stamina where I'm putting 3 more into that. Magicka recovery is still overcharged, and that's simply because of my Boon of the Atronach and my supernatural recovery. I am still a vampire, if you cannot tell. I'm in stage 4, so that's what we look like in stage 4. Moving into our Adric Spear category, I'm still using Powering Sweep, and I am still using Explosive Charge and Powering Sweep simply for the tank area because of the skill right down here, the Spear Wall. So increased block amount versus melee attacks for 15%, and that's why I use that there versus something else like the Vampire Ultimate. Dawn's Wrath. Nothing's changed. Once again, still using Solar Barrage. I like it, especially followed up with the Bash because, as I've shown you in previous, or talked about in previous video, it does increase your Bash amount, which is nice. Passives have not changed. I like Prism, bestows 2 additional ultimate upon activating the Sun ability. I do this a good bit. I start my pool with this, thus it benefits this. So that's why it's there. Restoring Light. Now here's actually a change that I have made to the build itself. I previously used Cleansing Ritual, which is good because it removed the negative effect. However, the boss fights that I've been going into lately, they've been slapping me hard, and slapping me so hard that if I don't have a decent healer, I'm going down shortly afterwards, because what will happen is they'll take 2 shots and I'm like halfway down on my health. Especially, there's just times, people are going to get crit. It's going to happen no matter what. Any tank that says otherwise is foolish to think, because it's going to occur. So this is why I've done Honor the Dead. In most cases, I don't use that until I drop below 50% health. I try to get away from the party so that way it is focused on me. Of course, it's a smart heal, so it's going to target me if I'm below 50% health and nobody else is. And of course, it restores 15% of the spell cost. So technically speaking, it's not horrible Magicka-wise. It's not as bad as you would think. So that's the only real change in the Restoring Light tree that I've made. And I just swapped that out, and simply put, I might change it back later on, but as of right now, I absolutely need to have this in there. One-handed weapon and shield. I do have Battlefield Mobility finally unlocked, and it's definitely fun to have. And increased block speed by 25% while blocking. That's good. That's good. That's pretty much it for that tree, because nothing really has changed other than that. Dual wielding. I do have a couple more passives in here. Still using, let me pop over here. Still using my Blood Craze, and I'm still using Steel Tornado. I actually might switch my Steel Tornado back. I don't find that the increased range is all that great, and there is an increased range. I remember taking this skill. I know it doesn't say there, but it said the rate. Yeah, there it is. Radius, so 12 meters. I think the other was an 8-meter radius or 10 meters. So I don't see that big of a benefit down the road with that. So I might actually swap that out and go back to, if I continue to dual wield, I'll go back to the one that rejuvenates your stamina, or doesn't take away so much stamina. Still working on leveling up my mist form. Really want to try out that poison mist form. I want to see how that actually attacks the enemy, because I've used it a time or two. I don't feel that the Magicka cost decreases, but I actually haven't really been paying attention. I can't imagine that I'm in Vampirism stage 4 and this thing's 426 Magicka. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it does that correctly. I want to talk about the bow, because, as I said earlier, I'm getting more into fights where I'm finding that ranging the boss is down the road probably going to be a necessity. And I am using a bow trying to level it up. You can see I'm level 7 currently. I don't have it equipped just for the video, but I was using it prior to the video. I will probably be putting points into the bow lineup. And I'm not saying I'm going to use it for trash pulls or anything like that, but I definitely will probably swap out dual wield for the bow on boss fights. And it's just, I just can't see it happening. I've actually went down in fights, and a DPS was able to kite the boss for the rest of the fight. And I'm not talking like just kite the boss for the last couple seconds. I'm like talking from 50% of his health to the remainder of the fight. He was able to finish the fight, and it was embarrassing for me to, as a tank, because you know, you want to be up, you want to survive, and here you have a DPS that's simply using the bow mechanics to his advantage, and he's able to stay alive by kiting and moving away. And I'm not saying that I don't know how to kite, it's just with the weapon set that I currently have, it's difficult to do so, because it's not as good as, say, using the bow. And of course I wanted to use destruction staff as well. You'll see, check this out. I actually try to put a couple points in destruction staff. Unfortunately, it's just too magicka intensive for this build itself, because I do put most of my points into stamina, at least in my attribute allocation, and of course I try to make up for it in my gear, as I previously stated in the other video. But it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to like halt people in their tracks, and it's just, I don't feel like it does, and I can't imagine it's going to do so against the boss. So, and of course with my stamina points being in my attributes, I feel that the bow is going to be the most beneficial down the road. So I will definitely be putting points in that. So those are two major updates between the Restoring Light, where I'm using now Honor of the Dead, and my desire to move more into the bow lineup. Okay, and I'm still using, of course, full set of heavy armor. And you know, here it is. Just show you, it's there. So that's what I'm still using. I like it. My vampire, still a vampire, haven't changed it out, really like it. Looking forward to this undeath thing. I think that's going to be awesome when the time comes. Blood ritual, I can turn people into vampires. Now, true story, I actually had the guy who converted me in the guild, which we have the vampire tutorial that we were kind of trolling about. We had fun with it, you know. He was going to give it to me for free anyway. We figured we'd make a video, have a good time with it. But he actually showed me where the blood ritual was. And the noob that I was, I walked into the blood ritual area, and there was like, you know, 4 or 5 people standing in there, no biggie. I walk up to a guy, and immediately my ability to feed pops up. So I'm thinking, like the vampire shrine where you can be werewolf indefinitely, I'm thinking to myself like, well, maybe this is where I'm allowed to feed on people for free. So what do? I bite the guy. And what pops up? This right here. And it says, I fed on an ally and I'm not able to feed on anybody else for the next 6 days. And I about shit myself. I told the guild immediately in TeamSpeak. I'm like, I can't believe what I just did. Like, I whisper the guy. I don't know if he was there to become a vampire. And of course, the guy was nice enough. And I believe, and I'm probably going to kill his name here, it said like Orin, O-R-I-I-N. Nice enough guy. He goes, hey, no problem, we all make mistakes. And I'm just like, I'm dying over here, because I'm just like, man, I was about to sell this thing for 20K. I was so excited, you know, and of course, you know, they're probably out there thinking 20K, good lord. But it's true, people are selling it for 20K. So he goes, I tell you what I can do, I can throw you 5K. And at this point, I'm taking whatever I can get out of it. So the guy sends me the 5K, nice guy, and I just went about my day. But that is a true story. That was my first vampire bite, and I pretty much gave it away for free. So I don't know, lesson learned there. Don't feed on people that are just hanging out in the vampire zone. I have actually unlocked the inner fire, and I will use this when I move onto, like I said, the bow for the boss fights. I'm going to start utilizing the inner fire for the taunt, because I don't want to be up front in the boss's face, you know, taunting with ransack, having to run back. So I will use this because the bow utilizes a lot of stamina. This actually uses magicka, which is kind of nice. We'll go back up here 1 second. I'm still looking forward to Sun Shield, and this will eventually place the Mist form. I like the idea of it. I think it's going to have a good debuff mitigation there. So I will be using it. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm reading it. I saw some other video where the guy was saying it was junk, it wasn't the greatest, but I don't know I could be misreading this because I creates a damage shield for 20% of your max health, lasts for 6 seconds, and I'm thinking that 20% basically takes my health and amplifies it by 27%. That's what I'm kind of envisioning. I don't know. I haven't tested it, haven't reached there, so I'm excited about getting there still. Nothing really going on in the fire dish tree. I've actually went up a level. I did put a point into this right here, the Anthropopy. Ooh, I'm killing that. But I did put a point into it. I even put a point into Mage Egg Depth, thinking that I could like reduce the cost, because it says it's supposed to be able to heal you 67 health over every 6 seconds, but this definitely popped up more than every 6 seconds. Like, it popped up immediately and probably like 2 seconds after that. So I don't know if that's misleading or if that's the way it was designed, but it definitely wasn't every 6 seconds. So they need to check that out. Dark skills, nothing new here. I don't think I've got any additional points. Crafting, nope, not really. Haven't put any more points. I'm still working for woodworking, because I am putting points into, or I'm going to be using the bow, and I have a shield. I am trying to level up my woodworking. Unfortunately, I'm not at the point where I can move this up a rank. I need like a rank, and you can see right here like 10% or 15%. So once I get that, I'll start being able to make gear at my level. Alright guys, that was it for this build update. Just not too many major changes with the build itself. You can definitely see where I'm going with, I still like the stamina, Got to be able to keep those blocks up, right? So, but you do see where I am planning on at least having a bow available, points, put into the bow category, putting points into the passives. I haven't actually checked out all the skills that I'll be using, but I definitely want to have it available for those big boss fights, because we can't afford to stand at people's toes in this game, and you got to keep your distance in some of those fights. So that's it for this video. Hit us up at www.beerandpeanuts.com if you're interested in joining the gaming guild. We have a lot of fun. We actually just opened up a Minecraft realm if you're interested in Minecraft. We also still have our Guild Wars 2 component, who does weekly guild activities, and they have a great group over there. And if you have any additional questions regarding the build itself, please feel free to leave a YouTube comment. If you don't want to leave a YouTube comment because you don't like Google+, please feel free to hit me up in game at Beer and Peanuts, and I will be sure to get back with you. Catch you later.